Hope you're doing well. And we'll get into our literature lesson for today. I hope you read Shirley Jackson's story, Charles. And remember, you're supposed to have read that story. It's funny. I wonder what you think of the ending there. Wonder how many of you saw that coming. Like, did you expect that there really wasn't any Charles and that was just him making up that character in kindergarten? But I wonder if you were able to answer the questions that I asked you. What do you think the primary conflict was? And what is the tone of the story? Did you think it was critical, neutral, or sympathetic? So let me show you the answers and see how you did. If you said the primary conflict was Lori versus the authority, right? That's what it was. It was the little boy versus teacher versus parents, right? So the primary conflict was that boy Lori versus the authority there. And then for the tone, did you say neutral? I hope so, because it was a neutral tone. It wasn't critical of the little boy or the parents. It didn't make us feel sympathetic toward one or the other. It was just very neutral, just presented the story merely for entertainment. It was neither critical nor sympathetic. It was just a story for fun. All right, so the next one we're going to be looking at is Richard Connell, 1893 to 1949. He was born in New York and he became a writer actually as just a child. He began reporting on baseball games for his father's newspaper when he was only 10 years old. By the time he was 16, he was the newspaper's editor. He did go to Harvard and wrote for two publications there while he was at Harvard. He was in the Army during World War I and wrote and edited an Army newspaper at that time. And then after the war, he just became a freelance writer and mostly wrote short stories. By the time he died, he had published over 300 short stories. So very prolific short story writer. His most famous story is the one that you're going to be reading called The Most Dangerous Game. This story has very original plot. It is a very suspenseful story because we don't find the outcome till the very, very end of the story. And there is a very central idea or theme. Okay. It is obviously a man versus man theme or conflict. Once you read it, you'll see that man versus man conflict. But it was more than just that. Both of the men, the main characters, are representative of something. So we have this conflict between the morality of the old world, which would be Zaroff, and the new world, which would be the American Rainsford. So we have this conflict between these two. And as you read it, you'll see which one Connell is saying is the better, or the one that is more moral and humane. All right. As you read it, I want you to see what tone you think this story has. Is it a critical, neutral, or sympathetic tone toward the main character? And then as you're reading it, I want you to be able to answer this question. How did General Zaroff justify his hunting game? All right, that he plays and that he gets Rainsford to play with him. This most dangerous game. All right, so you'll read this story and then we will talk about it the next time. Thanks.